What's up, folks? This is Commander Potter of the North Coast Fleet, and welcome back to another episode of World of Warships Blitz with North Coast Fleet Warships. First and foremost, out this video, I would like to extend a very sincere and heartfelt thank you to the over 400 people that have followed North Coast Fleet Warships on Facebook and the handful of YouTube subscribers that I picked up. It means it's an incredible motivation to see so many people so quickly expressing at least a mild interest in following what North Coast Fleet is up to and what we're going to be doing. And so I've already kind of made a quick shout out post on the Facebook page, but I wanted to put it in this video too. I'm dedicating this video to you guys. It was pretty difficult to put together, and it's not what I wanted it to be originally, and it's kind of got a second part now with the patch update this morning. But I wanted to dedicate this video to everybody that has followed North Coast Fleet Warships on Facebook in the last couple days, my handful of YouTube subscribers. You guys are awesome, and the mass number of people coming forth to follow, it means a lot. It's a big motivation to keep doing this. So without further ado, I'm going to give you a little bit of a summary of what we're doing today. I've got kind of a two-part video. I'm going to kind of try to keep it brief. I've only played 5 matches today, as I've made aware on my Facebook page for North Coast Fleet Warships. I'm undertaking a bit of a transition into getting back into a full-time job. I'm going to be taking night shifts, so I'm actually supposed to be asleep right now. I was up at 6 o'clock this morning for orientation, came home from orientation around 10 o'clock, went back to sleep, and I have a night shift starting at 10 o'clock tonight, so I'm putting this video in because I've been slacking a few days and I need to get one to you guys. I haven't had much time really to get into the update. I haven't actually read the patch notes, but I was hoping that I was just going to come in, play a few matches, give you guys just a quick, drop of the hat, first impression video on the patch update. So I'm going to get into, the first thing I want to show is the fleet update. And I had a couple messages on my personal fleet message board from members, asking, what's up with this oil thing? What do we do with the oil? Here's what you do with the oil. For what I've seen personally, you earn... not armory, you will be earning oil through your daily challenges on missions. I've got a few of them already, and so these will either stack up through the day or you can earn it one chunk at a time and donate, but basically there's no personal use for oil. So you can either do one or two things. You can either donate it as you get it, or you can complete all your missions and donate it all in one stack. I don't think it really makes a difference. I don't know if there's a timeout on it, or if you lose it if you don't donate it over a certain amount of time. But yeah, so you'll get these fleet upgrades, and so the first upgrade there, you can see plus 3% silver bonus from battles affects. The effect is available to tier 1 to 6 ships. And so you'll have the port, the operations center, headquarters, fleet warehouse, design bureau. I'm not going to try to get too much into each of those individually right now, as I'm kind of trying to get a whole bunch of stuff into one video without making it too long here. But basically the oil upgrades, donate it as you get it, or save it up and donate it in a big chunk, but basically put the oil into your fleet members will appreciate it, you'll all get bonuses, and then you'll also personally get these fleet tokens for the fleet shop. In the last couple weeks, I've been kind of thinking it would be cool if there was a way for us to buy blueprints, so that, if we were having particular trouble trying to get a certain blueprint, we could go somewhere and just buy it, instead of having to grind 20 or 30 matches with varying success on which ones we were going to get. And so I saw this and I was like, oh cool, we can buy blueprints. And then I looked at which blueprints they were, and I was like, well, the 4-star blueprints I can't even use yet. The 2-star blueprints, I've got oodles of those, and the 2 3-star blueprints available, I have a whole bunch of dive bomber blueprints, and all of the secondary guns on all of my tier 5 and 6 ships are already upgraded. So kind of waiting on first impression. I'm waiting in 8 hours and 20 minutes for this to flip-flop around and see what else is there, because not too much of use here. But it is cool, there's a potential capability to buy blueprints now, so you don't have to endlessly hunt them down and search for them. So there's fleet shop. The other couple things, the silver and XP bonuses. I have noticed a little bit of an increase on silver, which is nice. The XP bonus, I don't really pay much attention to XP. If I'm in a ship that I don't enjoy, I generally get rid of it. I haven't really encountered... I tried to work my way up through the American cruiser line, and I think I was on the Chester, and I was like, nah, I'm not doing this, and went up the German cruiser line and absolutely loved it, and there I am in the Nuremberg. Also the same with the Russian cruiser line. I decided to give it a try, and right now I've got the Tier 3 Bogatyr and the Tier 5 Kirov, which is about to be retired. I'll explain that here in a sec. So the silver bonus, pretty stoked for. I've noticed, it seems that we're getting a little bit of better cash. I played 5 matches today. I had 4 great ones, and then I had a run-in my New Mexico with DJAF Jackie Boys, and he was solo. He wasn't with any of his fleet mates, but he was in the Japanese Fubuki, and, well, I'll just say that he knows how to handle the thing, and made a pretty short work of my battleship. A good game, shout out to him. That was a well-executed attack run. So, like I said, I've only played a few battles. I have noticed there's a little bit of a silver increase. Haven't really noticed the XP increase. And then the other big one was the removal of magnetic torpedoes. And I'm going to just give my first impression on this. I'm not mad in any way about it, but I call BS. My first few matches of the day already, I've been hit by magnetic torpedoes, and as I understand it, the issue is actually a server latency problem, where the delay of transmission between 2 players that might have a great phone and great Wi-Fi, it's just the distance between their 2 IPs and their 2 routers. There's just that inevitable transmission delay. It's not instantaneous. So distance is going to be a factor, and in my opinion, is how I understand it, is a lot of work can be done from the developers to try and smooth over and iron out those issues, but it's never actually really going to be up to par or up to snuff as we see in the full World of Warships videos for PC. I feel like us Blitz players are going to kind of always have this lurking threat of server latent torpedoes that seem to go past you or that you've dodged, and then they'll explode halfway down your hull. Like I said, it's already happened to me a couple times today. So first impression on removal of magnetic torpedoes is that it hasn't happened. Power save mode that you can see there's this new little feature. You leave it aside for a couple minutes, it'll go into a power save mode. And then the other quick one that I was going to touch on, there's been a couple settings updates. Graphics quality, we now have the new 60 FPS. I'm still sitting at 30. My phone quality is, phone processor isn't that great. This was a cool one that I saw, is that each sound setting now has its own individual slider instead of just an on-off switch. New push notification options and language options. So settings have expanded a little bit. That's cool. One thing I'd like to throw in, a personal note that I'd like to see aesthetically. If you watch the full World of Warships videos, at least, maybe not, if not the countries, but each different class of ships seems to have a different sound bite for the gunfire. Like, destroyers sound different than battleships, etc., at least from what I've seen. So what I've also noticed is that in Blitz, it's all just kind of a generic, run through of the same couple of sounds. Battleships sound the same as destroyer guns sound the same as cruiser guns. So if that's something that might potentially come up aesthetically in the future, that would be something kind of cool to see. Without any further ado, I'm going to try to get you into the retirement match for my Kirov as the second part of this video. She's a Tier 5 cruiser. She has served me well. And the reason I'm retiring her is because I want to have a ship slot open for any kind of video requests for ships, for standard ships. I don't have any premiums. I can't get any premiums. But for standard ships from Tier 1 to 6, if you guys want to see like a how-to video or a review video or a spotlight video, I'm planning on retiring the Kirov, and I'll have a shipyard slot open that I can kind of swap out whatever ship is being requested, and I can kind of do videos on request about certain ships there. But the Kirov has served me well. I've got a decent record in her. But I figured it was about time to retire her, as I've got my Tier 6 German Nuremberg, which is my favorite ship by and large so far. So I was going to scale back from running 2 cruisers and have an empty slot open for whatever you guys might want to see. So I wanted to show you the retirement video that I tried to capture for the Kirov. Now, as I said earlier, I wanted to dedicate this video to all of you guys who have followed me on Facebook and the handful of YouTube subscribers. And so in lieu of, having crummy phone technology and trying to, being unable to actually do a live stream, I wanted to try to get a live video capture. But just the hecticness of my first match was great, but the sound and the resolution were both completely low and off. And so that match was no good. And then my next 3 or 4 matches that I got were my team was just utter crap, and they were just not fun to watch. And so I kind of gave up on trying to do the live capture. And then I got this match, after a few more with my camera going, and you can already see things are a little discombobulated there. There's a friendly Kirov. I kind of poked my nose out the side of that island and realized I was exposing my broadside a little too much to a bunch of enemy ships that I knew were there, but I couldn't see. So I've kind of backed in behind this island again. I'm going to poke my nose back out. And the thing about the Kirov is she's got her main firepower up front. Now, the reason I wanted to share this match with you, I get sunk in the end of this, but I did have a kill or two, and I had a couple good shots. This Isyaslav up here, this was interesting. This tripped me out. So he sails out. He gets spotted. Me and this Kirov are both bow in. We're trying to keep our broadsides protected from the enemy. This guy's flanking down our side. I'm throwing some shots at him and getting a couple hits. You can just see the AP damage that these Russian batteries, these Russian cruiser batteries can do to a destroyer. Now here I was confused. Waiting on reload, his smokestacks are going full bore, but he's sitting completely still. So I fire one shot, it makes it, I get a couple more hits, and I'm still kind of confused. I'm like, is he getting set to drive backwards? Is he getting set to drive forwards? I don't know. There goes his smokestacks again. And this time, just as I fire, he starts moving. And that whole salvo is going to miss. And now at this point, I'm kind of looking up to my bow. I've got the whole enemy fleet showing up, trying to keep my bow pointed at the fleet. Kind of, this guy's going to rush my broadside and I'm going to be in a lot of trouble. That's a Russian destroyer. He can absolutely just delete me off of the map if he gets in under 4 kilometers. And so I see him closing in on my friendly Kirov. And Kirov gets a couple more smacks onto him. He dumps his torps. You can just absolutely see just the wall of torpedoes. And I'm going to finish him off. And my friendly Kirov survived. Barely, but he survived that attack. I'm not sure if he actually survived the rest of the match, though, because he's got a couple very angry battleships that are within range. Set on fire there by that battleship over on the side. And so now, that Kirov's going to go down in a second. There he goes. So now I've got a very crippled battleship, and I'm going to turn to engage him with my HE after I get rid of my AP salvo. Get a couple good hits in there, but mostly deflections. So I'm going to switch over to HE, and now this is where I kind of YOLO'd in my Kirov, retirement video. Took a citadel or two there. That was kind of painful. But here I kind of YOLO'd the Kirov, switch over to HE, and I start spamming HE over at this New York, doing a little bit of damage. My quickly backed on reverse. And so over here on the right side, I've got a friendly destroyer that's going to come in, and he's going to start working on the battleship, the rear battleship in that column. And I want to get that guy finished off. And I'm just going to, now I'm, again, rushing in. And so right here, I want to pause. If you noticed off to the right, my friendly destroyer over there has peeled off. He launched his torpedoes, but is now peeled off and is going out at long range to reload. Now, I'm going to point out why this was kind of a piss-off for me here in a second. Destroyer captains. If you go to engage a battleship, and it is apparent that that battleship is obviously shooting at someone else, there is no reason why, even if you were in a Japanese destroyer, there is no reason why you should not get within point-blank range for the kill shot. Stuff your torpedoes down his throat. If that battleship is occupied with someone else, in this instance, me in a cruiser, that's going to give your destroyer all the time that you need to get up in under his primary batteries and dump a point-blank torpedo salvo that he is going to be unable to avoid. And so you're going to see just where this was kind of a piss-off for me here in a second. So I'm going to keep this video going. So I've got my HE loaded. I've kind of resigned myself to a fate at this point, but I want to try to get these torpedoes off before he finishes me. There's a fire, and I'm turning. I've only got one torpedo rack on each side. There they go. And I'm trying to turn back, protect that broadside, but it's too late. But he's not going to dodge those torpedoes. Those are Russian torpedoes, and they're going to take a decent chunk off of him. There I almost just did 10,000 damage with 3 torpedoes. Now, again, I'm going to pause. And what I had just said a minute ago about you destroyer captains, if the battleship is occupied with somebody else, don't be afraid to get up point blank to where he cannot dodge your torpedoes. So you saw that friendly destroyer that had already hit him, that was off to the back, that peeled off. And so I'm sitting here, I'm like, well, wait a second, where'd he go? And then I see his torpedoes come in. But as soon as this battleship had gotten rid of me, he knew that destroyer was still lurking. And so he starts a turn, and this Mutsuki, trying to use his long-range IGN torpedoes, is going to miss both of those salvos entirely. He could have had him right there. He could have maybe had him before he killed me, if he had gotten in range. But he's going to sit out here, and he's going to engage him with his guns now at long range. And now he's taking a pounding. Now he's taking a bunch of damage. And finally, as he's sailing like this, he's going to drop some torps. There's a secondary battery that just deletes him off the map. But those torpedoes are going to sink that battleship. But I was still sitting here. I was a little pissed here because I really feel that he could have gotten rid of him a lot sooner. And then I notice that we're winning, but our flag is being capped. There's 40 seconds left here, and the reason that I actually decided to save this match and show it to you was I'm watching my buddy here try to sail in. You know, it's obvious that there's an enemy ship. That last enemy destroyer is in our cap, and there's, you know, enemy destroyer versus a battleship at that health. If that destroyer's got, you know, at least half of his health left, he's probably going to survive an attack run. And so I'm looking at this, you know, I'm kind of getting nervous. I'm like, oh man, not again. I don't want to have to play another match. This was decent, 27.5K, 2 kills. I can retire Kirov here. And I'm watching the clock. I'm watching the flags. 8, 7, 6. Oh, look at this. So close. So close. Are we going to have it? Are we going to have it? 1 and we made it. 9:48 to 8:16. Another 5 seconds. They would have had our flag, and it would have been completely opposite result. But that was a pretty hair-raising finish there. A decent match in my Kirov to give her a retirement. And I wanted to share that video with you. It was super difficult. I was trying to get a live capture video, but as I said, just the team play was just annoying to watch. It was annoying to play and annoying to watch. So not a bad match. I went down. I'm going to retire my Kirov after that one. But I really hope you guys have enjoyed this. I hope I can get you guys another video out soon. I hope this didn't feel rushed or discombobulated in any way. I feel like I've been kind of slacking on getting you guys a video, so I wanted to get a two-part since we've had an update this morning. And also, again, I wanted to send a final big shout-out and thank you in dedicating this video to the numerous people that have added me on Facebook, that have subscribed on YouTube, and keep that coming. It means a lot, and it's a big motivation for me to keep this going. And tonight, I'm going to be starting a new job, and I'm going to start working up to save some money. I'm going to get better equipment, get a tablet, get a PC, get some better equipment, and get some better stuff going, get some more games even, maybe, and expand this into some, you know, we'll see where it goes. So I hope you guys all have a great day, and good luck and fair seas, everybody.